If your barber not 8 years old and he ain't focused like this, you need to get another one. Taking appointments after.
This is the story of Domonique McGeachy, age 38, a lovely wife and devoted mother who was found dead with a gunshot injury, along with her husband and her wonderful child. The young family was found dead by the police after a welfare check had been done at their residence. Both parents were at a point employed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, making it a disturbing case. There was a cryptic message left online by her husband a day prior to the death of the whole family. The actual cause of their death was later revealed to their families, making the case more shocking than they thought. Hello and welcome to Twisted Crimes. Subscribe and hit the like button for more stories.
Dr. King said, if they can brave the storm, then so can I.
This is 12-year-old Jerel McGeachy Jr. in January, giving a speech to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
This story will be taking us to Kansas City, Missouri. It is the largest city in Missouri with a population around 450,000 people, and more than 2 million in its metropolitan area. With a crime rate of 6,197 per 100,000 residents, Kansas City has a crime rate that is 166.62% higher than the national average.
Today, we gather to honor those who have gone before us, and to celebrate, love, and cherish those who are with us.
Domonique McGeachy was a young, beautiful lady who enjoyed doing the simple things in life. She was a nurse with the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs at some point in her life. She was a lovely young lady who wanted the best in life. Domonique met Jerel McGeachy Sr. They were a great couple. Jerel McGeachy Sr. was born in Rayford, was a Spring Lake police officer in 2017, formerly taught first grade at Cumberland Mills Elementary School, was chairman of the Hope Mills Prime Movers Committee for Millennials and vice chairman of the Town Historical Preservation Committee. A decent amount of time after dating, they decided to get married. It was a nice wedding. He really posted nice things about them getting married before the wedding and after the wedding. On this post, which was before the wedding, he said, 75 more days, do I really want to say, I do, let me think, heck yeah. After they got married, he posted another one saying, well, it's a done deal. Meet the press. Signed, sealed, delivered Domonique Brown, you're mine. LOL. They were a couple who everyone respected. Both of them were employed by the U.S. Department of Veterans Affairs, where Domonique worked as a nurse. They were just really great people. They ended up having a child who would be the center of their relationship. They named him Jerel McGeachy Jr. He was a very intelligent child.
Good evening. I'm backstage in my personal dressing room preparing to open for Dr. Umar Johnson. I look forward to hearing from you soon.
He was his dad's best friend. They did a lot of things together.
Because this is what happens when you quarantine, what is it, COVID-19?
COVID-19.
Yeah. And you're bored. This little guy thinks it's just okay to just go and cut my hair, really?
He's doing a good job.
Doing a great job. Tell you what, not you, Jerel. If you need if your kid, if your barber not 8 years old and he ain't focused like this, you need to get another one. Taking appointments after the governor says you can, get your hair cut. Until next time, peace out.
Good morning, everyone. My father has something very special for me for my birthday, so now I'm going to turn around and see what it is. How about them Cowboys?
Jerel McGeachy Jr. was a gifted child. At age 8, Jerel McGeachy Jr. is already a history buff. In some of his readings, Jerel learned about Martin Luther King Jr. and his battle for civil rights and equality. Then he would go around the country at a young age making presentations.
All we say to America is be true to what you said on paper. If I lived in China or even Russia or any totalitarian country, maybe I could understand some of these illegal injunctions. Maybe I could understand the denial
He won awards in school, statewide, nationwide. He was a good speaker. He spoke at all sort of events.
I count this a blessing to stand here in Junction City some 20 years later on the same streets where my mother walked to her friends' homes and played at local parks. Also, thank you to my father, who's recording this, for helping greatly to provide me with opportunities such as these. Amen.
Amen.
He was famous for giving speeches to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
Crowds then began to chant, "We want Martin! We want Martin!" Word was sent back that over 3,000 persons had braved the storm to hear Dr.
Jerel Jr. was said to be a leader with the way he was moving. He's a little boy with a big voice. Jerel Jr. said he enjoys reading. His proficiency with words recently won him a Regional Spelling Bee Award from the Association of Christian Schools International. Both parents were very proud of their child. But the bond between the dad and son was on another level. They were just inseparable. They were a unit. Their family was one which a lot of people were envious of. Not until a message surfaced on Jerel's social media page. It reads, "My parents has always been great to me. However, when they had differences, I always suffered. The worst thing ever is when my mom took me from my dad. My dad only disciplined me for my actions. My mom could not respect that because she never had a male figure in her life prior to meeting my dad. Weeks without seeing my dad as he was a stay-home father to me the first 3 years of my life. That hurt me more than life. That was a shocker to everyone who was close to them. They never thought there was any kind of problem within the family. Unknown to everyone, that was just the tip of the ice." A day or 2 days after that cryptic post, which people believed was sent out by Jerel Sr., even though Jerel Jr. had access to the social media account too. Nobody heard from the family, so a welfare check was made by the police at the request of the family members. Entering the home, officers came upon the 12-year-old boy, Jerel McGeachy, Jr., with a fatal gunshot wound, per police, who note that further into the home, they discovered the child's mother, Domonique McGeachy, with a fatal gunshot wound, as well as Jerel McGeachy, Sr., who appeared to die as the result of a self-inflicted gunshot injury. Police found the 3 family members, each with apparent bodily trauma, dead inside the home, following a welfare check just after 9:45 a.m.
Family of 3 found dead in a Northland home yesterday.
Police now believe the 3 died as a result of a murder. We now know the names of those victims, a man and woman, both in their 30s, and a 12-year-old boy. KCTV5's Grace Smith joining us live at 5 now from that house. Grace, what can you tell us?
Well, Carolyn, I have been out here for 2 days now, and I can tell you that people are still trying to comprehend this entire situation. This is a quiet neighborhood. Yesterday, we watched as people were looking out of their window in fear, and today, I watched as multiple people drive past the home, paying their respects to this family, who they say was a highly talked about family.
From a dark past to positive extremes.
In September, Jerel Jr. made this video with his mom and dad beside him.
The boy, my husband was so impressed with him. He was so smart.
But on Monday, Jerel Jr. and his mom and dad were all found shot to death in their Northland home. Police say Jerel Sr. died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound.
I mean, they were just great people. And that's the thing. They were just really good people.
Dina Rose's husband worked with Jerel Sr. and Domonique at the Leavenworth VA Medical Center.
Spilled blood of these innocent girls.
He took that video of the family for a national tribute to Martin Luther King Jr.
He even said to me, he said, this young man's going to grow up and be somebody someday.
Of a bright future.
According to police, when they didn't show up to work or school on Monday, a family member called in a welfare check and found the scene that has left this quiet neighborhood gutted.
Why? This is senseless, you know? Why? And that little boy, you know.
Dr. King said, if they can brave the storm, then so can I.
A very confident and poised Jerel McGeachy commanded the room when he recited the last speech ever given by Dr. King. He says parts of the decades-old speech sticks with him.
His commitment to being nonviolent, because there are so many things, so many racist acts that are being performed, and a lot of people I know probably wouldn't have been able to stay nonviolent, but he was able to stay calm, collected.
The circumstances leading up to the 3 deaths remain unknown at this time. The deaths of the mother and son will continue to be investigated according to police. Police say they are not currently seeking any additional suspects. However, KCPD did emphasize that the findings remain preliminary and that investigators are still compiling evidence. Some people believed that they were having issues and they were about to separate, but none of them wanted to let the child go, which was what ultimately led to the rage and killing. Nobody knows that for sure at this point, just speculations by some friends. Anyone with any information is asked to contact homicide detectives directly at 816-234-5043. A sad ending to the life of a very bright boy and her mother.
Mom, thank you for being a positive example of a healthcare professional.
As we go through this coronavirus pandemic and we grapple with what's going on with this pandemic, we need people like you who's standing on the front line, who's courageous and very thoughtful and committed and dedicated to the citizens of North Carolina as well as to the citizens of our country.
We just wanted to let you know how proud we are of you with your nurse practitioner accomplishments and your love that you have for the elderly.
She really loves her patients, and she looked out for my mother when she was in the hospital years ago, and she made a transition, but Domonique told her she was going to take good care of her, and she did.
Next to creating a life, the finest thing a person can do is to save a life.
Doing such an amazing job during the COVID-19.
She's consistent in her job.
We thank you for your service.
They were incredible people who were not supposed to have died the way they died. Men should learn to be patient sometimes before doing the unthinkable. This could have been avoided. Our sincere condolences to their families. May their souls continue to rest in peace. Please stay safe out there and see you guys in the next video.